I was born an artist. And I say that in the sense that I think many people feel that they've always been something. I feel like I've always been an artist. And I know that all kids start out with finger painting or picking up those crayons to color, but at some point it became more than that. And I have many stories that kind of build into this artist that I became. But one of my earliest would have been first grade. 6 years old, and I took a field trip with the class to a local high school. There was an art teacher that was there, had us do an assignment. I don't remember exactly what the project was. What I remember is the result. And I had painted a series of dots and these swirls and things with my fingers and whatnot. And the teacher had come over and had asked me, what is this? And I had said, this is what you see just before you go into a dream. It's the flashing lights and that sort of thing just before you go into a dream when you're falling asleep. I now know that those are called phosphenes, but at the time the teacher had found that rather interesting that I was taking conscious note of that at 6 years old and painting that. She asked if I wanted to trade artworks, so she traded me one of her original artworks for my original, and I do still have that original piece of hers with a note attached to it and a black and white copy of the artwork that I had done. And I think from there forward, I'd always felt like, yeah, I was meant to create. I was meant to make art and be an artist. 365 Days of Halloween. I'd been thinking about doing a project like that for a while when I was going to start it. Talked about it with my wife, and when we took our 10-year anniversary and Halloween celebration trip to Salem, we were on the plane coming back, and it was November 1, and I had drawn sort of a silhouetted picture of a witch, and I, in the corner after signing it, put day 1 over 365, and she'd smile and said, "Oh my God, you're gonna do it." Ultimately, it became a book with 365 pieces that was, as one was finished each day that had a Halloween element to it. And Renee had helped me to edit it all, and now it's a 376-page book. 2016, we came to an event that was here in the Witchcraft District, which of course is Poughkeepsie, and we decided, God, this is pretty neat, the Witchcraft District. Maybe we should consider that. 2018, we came back to see about solidifying that, and it fit. Decided we're gonna sell the house. We came out, picked out a house that we found that spoke to us, that's what we consider an in-betweener, and we're in Poughkeepsie, and then we decided to do the store. And Renee said, I want to do it. This time I want to have the store. And since we're in the Witchcraft District, it's going to be Witchcraft District Bazaar. And then of course inside is my space here where I do what I do. Art on You started as something that I was doing during my college years. I was inspired by others that started out from very humble beginnings and eventually make it. I kid you not, I was making color copies of my artwork that said Art on You in it, 'cause I had this idea of I put art on you, but on, I know grammatically incorrect, on you car, on you wall, on you shirt. And I talked a few friends into allowing me to glue stick these images into their back windows, which later became, I figured out how to make my own stickers that I could cut out, and I was ironing on transfers onto shirts. And then I get to Salt Lake and I meet my wife, and she says I should do tattoos, and I find my way into tattooing. Attitude Tattoo, where I apprenticed, eventually managed, we learned, and then we go across the valley and we start Art on You Studios. And that's where we got the experience to run the business. I self-describe my work as wonderfully witchy and beautifully dark from a shadowed realm. And I'm doing it in black and gray. It just sort of goes. The magically charged tattoo sigils. That started because of, well, ink therapy. How can we somehow do it to where people come in for real ink therapy? I mean, like actually healing tattoo somehow. And they just sort of milled around my head for a bit. And then I had to think about, well, rituals. We've been ritualizing for years. Renee and I have been, conducting our own rituals for years and years. And then it just sort of organically started evolving. I had this idea, wait a minute, what if we did it as a ritual and I designed a sigil that was specific to the individual? I've got it. So I got some people that I'd said, listen, I want you to try and do this with me. I'm gonna design a sigil. I want to address something for you. It could be something that's self-empowering, or maybe you want me to address something that's ailing you. And so whether it was depression or if it was anxiety or whatever it was, or maybe they wanted something that, sort of boosted them. They wanted to feel a bit more creative in their life or whatever it was. Cool, I've got it. I would create a sigil, and during the conversation, I would get bits of their personality. And I would put elements in the sigil that would address whatever it is that they wanted to have addressed. And I wanted to create it so it looked very old world, like it came out of the Warlock's spell book. And then when you come in, you enter into the Warlock's lair, but we're in the middle of the woods and we're at a different age. And then we engage into ritual. So there's a full invocation, there's a bell, there's incense, there's a gong, and we go quiet, and I'm tattooing. So that part, of course, is going to be traditional. There's gloves, there's ink, there's all the safe things that, would be with the tattoo. But I'm making the sigil on them. And as it's happening, we are literally focused ourselves in ritual to imbue this with magic. And when it's finished, they leave, and it's something that they literally carry with them the rest of their lives that they can feel. It's different. It's not the other tattoos that are the original artwork pieces. This is something that's magically helping them. And I've yet to have anybody that's engaged in this process say otherwise. They leave and they feel different. They feel relieved. They feel more power. And I've been putting up testimonials where as it moves forward, weeks, months, even, up to a couple of years now, since starting to do this, that they're saying, no, it's still working. I sometimes rub it, I'll sometimes think about it, but yeah, it still continues to help me. So it's been unique, it's been fun, and I love doing the ritual tattoos for folks. They can be very emotional for them. And for me, it's very satisfying to know that I can contribute toward helping them in some fashion.